August 30th, 1904, St. Louis, Missouri. The Olympic marathon was about to begin. 32 athletes started. Only 14 would finish. What happened in between is the most chaotic race in Olympic history. The race was 40 kilometers across country roads outside St. Louis. The organizers scheduled it to start at 3 in the afternoon, 32 degrees Celsius, the hottest part of the day. There was one water well on the entire 40-kilometer course. The chief organizer, James Sullivan, had deliberately restricted water supplies. He wanted to study the effects of dehydration on the human body during an Olympic race. Race officials drove ahead of and behind the runners in early automobiles. The dust clouds from the cars coated the runners and choked the road for the entire race. The course was also not cleared. Runners had to dodge delivery wagons, street trolleys, trains, and people walking dogs. Now let us meet our runners. Frederick Lors, American, one of the favorites. Thomas Hicks, also American, serious, determined, well-prepared. Andarin Carvajal, Cuban postman. He had never run a marathon before. To get to St. Louis, Carvajal had fundraised across Cuba, then gambled away all his money in New Orleans. He arrived at the start line in his street clothes, long trousers, a long-sleeved shirt, dress shoes. Someone handed him a pair of scissors. He cut his trousers into rough shorts on the spot. He had not eaten in 40 hours. Lynn Tanyane, South African, one of the first 2 black Africans to compete in the Olympics. He and his teammate were in St. Louis as part of the World's Fair exhibit. They signed up for the marathon 2 days before. The gun fired at 3 p.m. 32 runners set off into the dust and heat. Within the first mile, several runners were already struggling. William Garcia collapsed on the side of the road, unconscious. He had inhaled so much road dust that it had lacerated his stomach lining. He nearly died. Doctors saved him at the roadside. Frederick Lors hit cramps at 9 miles and dropped out. A passing car offered him a lift. He accepted. For the next 11 miles, Lors rode in the car, waving cheerfully at the exhausted runners he passed. At mile 20, the car broke down, so Lors jogged the last 6 miles and crossed the finish line first. The crowd went wild. Alice Roosevelt, daughter of President Theodore Roosevelt, placed a wreath on his head. He was about to receive the gold medal when spectators who had seen him in the car started shouting. Lors was immediately disqualified. He claimed it was a joke. The actual leader was Thomas Hicks, and he was not doing well. 10 miles from the finish, his trainers gave him a dose of strychnine mixed with brandy and raw egg white. Strychnine is rat poison. In very small doses, it stimulates the nervous system. This was, technically, the first recorded use of performance-enhancing drugs in the modern Olympics. Hicks began hallucinating. He thought there were people on the road who weren't there. His trainers had to physically restrain him from lying down on the road. They gave him another dose of strychnine, then another. When Hicks reached the stadium, he could barely walk. His support team carried him across the finish line, holding him upright while he moved his feet. He was immediately treated by 4 doctors. He had lost 3.5 kilograms during the race. He nearly died. Meanwhile, Andarin Carvajal was hungry. He spotted the spectator eating peaches on the side of the road. He asked politely if he could have one. The spectator said no. So Carvajal grabbed both peaches and ran. Later, he passed an apple orchard and stopped to eat some apples. The apples were rotten. He got severe stomach cramps, so he lay down in the orchard and took a nap. He woke up, resumed the race, and finished 4th. Lynn Tanyane was on pace to finish much higher than 9th. A dog chased him off course for over a mile. He found his way back and finished 9th anyway. 32 runners started. 18 dropped out, collapsed, or were carried off. The winner, Thomas Hicks, set a time of 3 hours, 28 minutes, and 53 seconds. It was 29 minutes slower than the previous Olympic marathon winning time. The event was later called the worst organized race in Olympic history. The organizer who designed the dehydration experiment never faced any consequences. In one race, a man took a car, another drank rat poison, a third took a nap in an orchard, and a fourth was chased by a dog. And somehow, all of this was allowed to count as an Olympic Games. The 1904 Olympic Marathon, the strangest race ever run.